You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good day.
And welcome to the Mushie Moment with myself and my awesome co-host Cindy. We are live today on Tuesday, December 19th, right before the fine Christmas day. Paceradio.net, CBG TV, and we stream everywhere.
So
and there seems to be a few technical things going on.
Yeah, I get some, like there's some noise in the background somewhere. I don't know where that's coming from. But at 30 seconds after 4, we're sitting here talking, and I look at Steve and I go, oh, shit. Because, of course, it was like after 4.
Yeah.
Over here. We are live. How do Steve? Now that we're here and we're live, we got it going. We're doing good.
Okay. So how you doing? Show your drum. Dun, da, 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 da.
It's up there drying. It takes about a week to dry.
Because you made that by hand.
Yeah, I took off my brace, but my wrist is really sore because when you make it, the back of it, the weaving part, because you have the skin that goes over the hide that goes over the top, and you have strips of hide to weave it on the back. But before you weave it on the back, you have to stretch it. So you've got 4 7-foot lengths of hide that you have to like soak overnight and then stretch. And let me tell you, hide, when like elk hide, which is what that is, when it is wet, it's slippery, and it is super duper slippery. So it's really hard to do. And I have a very sore hand and wrist because of it, but it was 100% worth it. And I'm going to go do it again. This one is a 14-inch in diameter, and I'm booked in late September to make a 16-inch.
And where is that you're booked in?
Oh my goodness. It is at just a second.
Oh, did I get you off guard?
I can't believe I didn't have that up. It's a lovely lovely Mi'kmaq man, and I'm not finding his page right off the bat. That's terrible. A lovely Mi'kmaq man. I've actually met his daughter at the Acadia Craft Festival here in Nova Scotia, in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, and she was selling some of her dad's drums. And I was like, oh my goodness. And her and I chatted for a minute, and I had told her that I was interested in making my own drum. And that's when she got me into chat with her mom and dad. And that's when I found I found them. And
if anybody wants to find out how, they can just contact you.
They can, as long as you're in Nova Scotia, because that's where this gentleman works out of. He works out of Bridgewater, Nova Scotia. So yeah, if you are in Nova Scotia and next fall would like to learn how to make your own Indigenous drum, please reach out to me. By then, I will definitely have his Facebook page found, and I will share that. And I will share his page once I get going. I've been wanting to share it and give my review when I share it. But it was a very emotional moment for me to build my own drum. And it's beautiful because the ring is cedar, like the inner wooden ring is cedar. Yes, you are the best, Grandpa. The inner ring is cedar, and it comes from the Ojibwe West. The elk skin, the elk hide that we've covered it with comes from the Cree out of Quebec. And the moose antler that is the handle on the back actually come from the Mi'kmaq here in Nova Scotia.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I bet it's going to sound wicked.
I tapped it while it was wet and it already sounded good. So he said it takes about a week to dry. So I will bring it down over the weekend and check it out. And I should be able to start using it actually on Christmas Day.
That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
And if not, then it'll be getting banged on New Year's right at midnight. Bonga, 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 bonga. Everybody else will be out there with pots and pads and clang, 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 clang. Bonga, bonga, bonga.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. It was a pretty amazing experience. I sat in a room. I was the only Cree there. Everybody else was Mi'kmaq. And I was the only one that appeared as white as I do. So I felt a little out of place when we first started, but it didn't take me very... it didn't take me long, and I was very comfortable and very at home. And I learned a lot of Indigenous information when I was there. I just sat there and I just listened to them and I talked and I soaked it up. And it's pretty exciting. I have actually today I called out to the Cree government, and I wasn't able to chat with anybody today. I mean, even we are like just about at the holidays, so the government places usually shut down. But I left a message and I hope to hear back, and I hope that they can direct me to where I can take some lessons, both in the Cree language and in the Cree life.
Nice.
So I can learn about my ancestors. I think it'll be amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I went and met some people, and the father reached out to me. I'm going to bring this up. It's from Curtis'sDream.com. And Curtis lost his life to an overdose. And they have a plan, which is building this car in Curtis's name and driving it across Canada. His brother is going to drive it across Canada and raise awareness for addiction. So they were at a park here in Richmond, Minaru Park, and they've had a bench that's dedicated to Curtis and his grandma, and they've got they brought in the car and they had it set up. It's not finished yet. So if anybody feels like donating, which would be really awesome, you can go to Curtis'sDream.com. I'll throw that up again. But I went there with one of my daughters and we actually did a little film.
Dream.com. Curtis lost his life to an overdose. And Jesse and myself and Mika have come to show our support and take a look at the car and show this on the podcast. So this is the car that they're fixing up, Curtis's Dream. This is to raise awareness for addiction. There's some people there. So they're going to finish up this car. One of the brothers is going to drive across the country with it and raise awareness to addiction. And the puppies are saying hello.
Sometimes she doesn't mind.
There's the guardian of the car. Yeah. Yes, hello. Here's a shot of the story. Here's a shot of the story.
This is what shown by.
So here we are coming up on Curtis's bench. That'll be Curtis's brother Trevor there. He's been here all day in support of Curtis's car and Curtis's bench, bringing awareness to addiction.
And it was a crappy day.
Ribbons, etc.
Cool, buddy. Thanks. Yeah. I'll let you know. It's going to be wrapped next week, so maybe we'll go for a rip.
Yeah. I want to see it because the hood looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, I'll drive it by the end of the day.
This is Trevor here. He's Curtis's brother.
All right.
He's here on the bench that they put in as a memorial. This is Jess. She's come down to show support as well.
That's
And
one of the dogs.
what would be the most important things you have to say if I was to put this on my podcast? Because I probably will.
Be kind to people that are dealing with addictions, you know. I mean, we end the stigma by talking about it. You know, like I've been telling the people all day, my brother, I think one of the things that really kind of made it hard for him to get treatment was what people think about you after you come out, you know. I used to ask him because he got diagnosed with schizoaffective about 6 months before he died. And I'd ask him, well, what are the voices saying? It was always, you know, you're a piece of shit, you know, you're hurting the people around you, you're an asshole, stuff like that. And it's all tied to the image of the drug user. It's awful. And they're not bad people, you know, they're people. And they go, you know.
I have to agree. Are you a people, Jess?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Do me a favor. Pull the scarf down. This also is what an addict looks like, people. Say hi, Jess.
Hi.
Let them know you're a real person. You're in active addiction currently,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, actively using.
yeah, that's hard.
And
I relapsed probably about
Uh-huh.
6 to 8 months ago.
Oh no. All that happens, you know. You get in and out. Right?
Yeah. It's hard.
It is. It's a hard fight in life.
well,
And they don't give you the things you need when you get better, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they just say, oh, get on Suboxone. Now they have the Subligate. Get on the Subligate, and that'll change your life. Another drug.
Yeah.
Another drug will change your life.
Yeah. Well,
Like, for me, every time I've gone to treatment, and I've gone over 7 times now, I don't want to go on methadone. I don't want to go on Suboxone. I don't want to go on Cadian. I want to be. Why would I want to be addicted to a pharmacy when I'm already addicted to a dealer?
yeah.
Right?
well, clean supply is still.
And everyone has their own way. And if that's what makes your life successful, then that's good for you. That's just not the way that I want my story. Right? My sister hears voices too.
Yeah. And it's hard when it seems real because you lose that perception of whether or not it's real. And he would say, like, he would phone me sometimes and be like, fuck you. And I'm like, what? He's like, you drove by, I know it was you,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, man,
She
I'm
does
taking
that
a
too.
shit. I'm on the toilet right now, you know?
Yeah.
She does that too.
Katie's severe bipolar, so she gets the voices as well, and especially when there's the side and the other crap in the drugs that's in there.
It's
You know,
terrible
it's
and
brutal.
it makes it worse.
We're identical twins, and when we're together, people like don't even they're like, you're not twins. There's no way you're twins.
She doesn't use the stuff with the benzos, or tries not to
try
use the
not
stuff with the
to.
benzos. And that.
I try to follow rules, you know, that downtown, like, because it's so dangerous. Like, you know, now they have this trank stuff. One hit and you're asleep all night.
Yeah.
And people can do whatever they want to you, and so I don't take a hit off anyone else's pipe. I don't use anyone else's drugs. I only get it from one person. I don't go in alleys alone. I don't go near doorways. I don't walk too close to cars. Like, and it's sad that you have to follow those rules, but it's what keeps me safe, and I've never gotten robbed or anything. So
Right? I mean, there's a community out there for that reason, and they have come up with their own solutions and rules, right?
yeah.
And we have to live within them.
The main one is staying safe, and it's like, how do we maintain that safety?
Yes,
a lot
I
of it
agree.
is just get the fuck over it, man. People do drugs, you know,
Yeah.
and people are using drugs. And we have to get over this moralistic perspective that,
Yeah.
that drug users are bad. But
That
I
they're
have
the
not-
people in the alleys with their hoods on, freaking gonna
Yeah.
go rob your.
I have not met one
Train
bad
in your
drug
car.
user that I've had a conversation with that I would say you're a bad person. You know, I know bad people exist, but at the same time, those bad people came from somewhere. And there's usually some form of social obstacle in the way or something that has created that. And no one wants to look at things from that perspective. No one wants to sit there and break down what we are to blame for, you know, what structural obstacles we have created. And you know what? It's get over your moralism.
A lot of people I've met are actually really smart. Probably smarter than the average person.
And that's why you're tortured, because you're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with a lot of people that are in the prisons and a lot of the people that are find themselves.
Or they're really good at something. Like I've met a lot of people who are just so like artistic, or there's like one thing that they're like amazingly good at.
I'm going to sit on the bench. I'd just like to take a seat here.
Hot chocolate. This is hot chocolate.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's here at Minaru. So if you're at Minaru Park, by the little fountain area and the duck pond, please come and take a minute and sit on the bench.
So if you're inspired, please go to curtisstream.com. You know, I heard actually during that clip that they've got a GoFundMe going to try and finish off the car and whatnot. So that would be awesome. And you know, one of the things I want to say is that in the battle against fentanyl, I'm learning that a very, very powerful tool, and I'm willing to call it the antithesis of fentanyl, is 5-MeO-DMT. And that's how we're going to tie this all together for our next guest we got coming on, because our next guest is quite special to me. And I'm pretty sure she's quite special to you too. And she spent a bit of time educating both of us on DMT and you know, going through safety procedures and everything else. And she educates quite a few people on DMT. What do you got to say? Oh, where's your microphone?
I was coughing and I had a little bit of a sniffle watching it, so I had to mute myself. Trina is, she's a lady that she educated both Steve and I. We both went and took her class at different times. And we got to, form a relationship with this beautiful lady. And I'm very grateful that she's become part of my life and part of my circle, or part of my pod, as she would call it. I'm really excited to bring her on. I'm more excited for things that you should be talking about, like the fact that it's a great tool against fentanyl, and why you're talking about that. It's a pretty beautiful reason. But we should bring her on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from pharmacist to Dharmacist.
Pharmacist to Dharmacist. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I guess that's true. Yes. Hello. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Hello,
Welcome.
Steve. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
So pleased to be here.
So first question I always ask, we always ask, is what brought you to this? Like, what brought you to working with psychedelics? I mean, we have, in your bio, you tell people that you are a pharmacist, you are a doctor of pharmacology, and now
pharmacy. Yeah, to clarify.
Yeah, and now you work with psychedelics. What changed that?
What brought me here? Oh my gosh, I guess all roads kind of lead to the same path, right? Kind of like, which one got me there? Well, as you mentioned, I've been practicing pharmacy since almost 2 decades now, and if you count school, over 2 decades. And I feel like I've lived kind of like a split life. Is from a very young age. Luckily, I was introduced to psychedelics and never had that. Do I make the leap? Oh, what's going to happen to me? So fortunate to have trusted people to offer me that experience, and it was just life changing. And then I had the path of, well, go to school and do the thing that leads to success. And I thought, okay, well, I want to help people. I think all of us innately want to help people. And I thought, okay, well, medicines, because my grandfather was a traditional medicine man, traveling all of China since he was 12, being an herbalist. Thought, okay, I want to take that path too. All right. But at some point, there's just this, you're doing it. And then after a while, you see, I see one way really helping and another way helping, but I got to make a choice. And that's what happened is, long story short, it was with the help of 5-MeO-DMT that just said, you're the author of your life. What are you going to do? Instead of just like waiting for things to happen, just like, okay, take charge, turn the page, get the pen in your hand and start writing the future you want to write. And that was it. I've seen how incredible psychedelics have been in people's healing, people's authenticity, people's just being courageous to step into themselves. And I thought, all right, this is it then. I am now the author of my story. And I feel like now, yeah, I am the one flipping the page. I am the one with every brush stroke on the paper. So that's kind of how I got there is you just become witness to it. And then you do it yourself, you witness other people, and you just realize this has to be part of everyone's path in life. Like whether I'm just imagining it being like a rite of passage for people coming into certain big parts of their lives, like whether it's connection with other, like a partnership, a new life being born, coming into an eldership role, becoming an adult. Like I just yeah. I'm just going on and on, but I think it's something that has been around for its traditional medicine, and it's time that we bring this back, usher it back into our lives, and I would love to be part of it. I guess that's I feel like it's a role, it's a part of my story I want to create.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's hard not to see the healing that takes place over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
When you lay witness to it, it's now your truth. It's not just a belief. It's now a truth, and And there's some stuff that works for a lot of people. Some works for half the people. I don't know where the 5-MeO sits right now, but I don't know many that it hasn't worked for.
And not to say that other ways isn't the way. It's just this one it's another tool that we need to usher in. Like breath work, meditation, somatic work, all of that is incredible. I think it's just we're starting to come back to new forms, which are actually old forms, but rediscovering these old forms of just, oh wait, this is the way to be. Like, oh, how do I listen to? They say like, oh, listen to your gut. It's like, wait. When I would hear that, like, how do I even listen to what is that? What does it sound like? Do I feel it? Does it tell me something? And you don't understand it until you get it. And this is what all of these forms bring you back to. And then once you hear it, it's like it gets louder and louder. But you need to, I guess, turn on the volume, turn on the machine first. And that's, once again, what these tools offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, what I found was they put me in a place where I believed it was possible to achieve, and then I found myself there, which made it my truth. I now know it's possible. Now the goal is do what it takes to get there without having to take the medicine, which is the breath work, which is the meditation, which is the supplementation proper, which is the eating proper. You know, it's all those things. You've got to use clean air. You've got to have clean blood. You've got to have clean organs. It's all part of, you know, when it's healing. We've divided everything up into organs, but they're all in one side, one vessel. It's, you know, everything is interconnected, and all the pathways lead to the one vessel.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone is different, right? That's why, like, for some people, somatic will work for them better, meditation will work, sound will work, dance will work, and with different, we'll call it cadence. Like, some people might need it regularly, and some people like just need to tap into it once a week or once a month or once a year. That's where we need to also celebrate diversity and our neuro. I love that neurodivergent is becoming more and more of a regular term. It's like, oh yeah, what does that really mean? Is that, oh, what works for me isn't going to work for you, and you may need something different than me. So I really am glad that we're just more aware that we're all neurodivergent, and just like figuring out, hey, what works for me. And that's also part of authorship. Being an author of self is I get to figure that out for myself, which we haven't had that authority to do so, or like even been asked, what is it that you need? I mean, I guess maybe I'm speaking to my own path, is just figuring out, oh, what do I need as a life force, as a new mother, as a friend, as a community builder?
Well, we're kind of programmed that we're told what we need, right? You need this. How many pharmaceutical ads? How many booze ads? You know, hey, this will make you better. That'll make you better. Hey, you got this. You need this. Oh, hey, you got to have this, or your buddies aren't going to like you.
Yeah.
You know, define yourself by this new car. Define yourself by this new purse.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking to, that was a lovely video you shared. Definitely, like, I was like, oh, I'm feeling it. And so courageous of your daughter to like have that just be available for others to watch. Is very courageous of her. And I do agree 5-MeO, because of course that's my bias, but I think many psychedelics are anything that tunes self to body. And we were mentioning this earlier, and I just want to just repeat this, is that addiction, and as per many of the great geniuses out there, including Gabor Mate, addiction is disconnection. And psychedelics, and for me, my truth is, especially 5-MeO DMT, it reconnects to self. So it is the antithesis of addiction, is reconnection to self, but also community. Like it's like there's so many legs to this stool. Is we need reconnection to self, but then we also need community too. So we need the both to come together.
Yeah, one of the things I had said, and I'd said it to my girls, is, you know, with fentanyl being as strong as it is on the dark side, and then 5-MeO being as strong as it is on the light side, one of the things my daughter Katie had said at one point, she was downtown, we were walking, she said, Dad, these are my people, they understand me. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, it hurt my heart. And I said to her, I said, Katie, none of these people belong here. This is a failing of our society. Nobody belongs here. Yeah. It's mental health and trauma is why people are here. And, you know, what I've said to them recently is all of those strange things on the dark side that keep you there, when you get into the psychedelics and that end of things, those strange ways of thinking to the normal society, the ones that are on the dark side that made you feel normal, well, they're over here on the bright side as well. They're over here on the healing side, right? They're the people that go, oh, these herbs actually work. Oh, did you know you can utilize this and this? And you don't have to think the way that society has told you have to think, and those strange ways of thinking all of a sudden are normal on the light end as well.
Yeah. And if I might add that I completely agree that the people on the streets, that is not normal. And it is tragedy and injustice. That's why they're there. And I've had the privilege to go and travel many different countries. And I'm always curious to know, like, where have you been and what stood out? And before when I was younger, I thought, oh, New York was the best place ever. And all these big cities are amazing. And so I would ask some people, especially those who've lived in villages, like some people especially in Bali, like the villages of Bali, and you meet some people who say, oh yeah, I've been to New York and Paris and that. And I ask them, oh, cool. Like, what'd you think about it? And do you know what the first thing that pretty much 90% of people, what stands out to them when they've traveled from their village to a big city is?
I would say homelessness.
They say, what stood out to me was there were people on the street.
Yeah.
And that just like, ooh, oh yeah, like our humanity, like we've lost our humanity. And I feel like I'm like getting sentimental, but it just was a reminder to me that they don't belong there, and our like other countries think that is, I think it's cruelty, and it's just not right. So they don't belong there. We all belong in a community, and we all belong, and we all deserve love.
Yep.
Some of them don't feel like it, but they all deserve love.
Yes, yeah. I 100% agree.
Yeah. I'm getting all sentimental. It's probably hormones still.
This is a good time.
It's time for us to go for a quick break. Time to check out our sponsors, pay some bills. You're here with us live on the Mushie Moment on paceradio.net, CBG TV, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partners 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Let's share Pace everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Pace Radio is the people advocating cannabis education radio network.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back to the Mushie Moment, streaming live to you here in paceradio.net and CBG TV. We're here with Trina the Dharmacist.
Welcome back. So, Trina, you have been, as we stated earlier, you've been trained, you've got a doctorate in pharmacy, which helps greatly in working with the natural medicines as well. I mean, I know that I've reached out to you already a couple of times since training to say, hey, I've got somebody on this medicine, is it okay? And you're a very knowledgeable lady. It doesn't take you very long to know. It was quite interesting, to learn from you on that hand. So I'm very thankful because, in the situation that Steve has brought up, trying to work with somebody who's coming off fentanyl and benzos, it's important information. You can't, as much as these are natural medicines, we have to be careful with how they react with the modern medicines.
React and interact, yes.
Oh yeah, they're all still using the same pathways. So we just got to make sure those pathways are safe.
That's what I love that you had in your book, a bunch of, how the interactions were, half-lives, which you needed to be aware of, which plants, like plants that have certain ones that you needed to be aware of. I thought that was incredibly awesome.
Thank you. And we're still learning. I think we're really good with like what's psychoactive with psychoactives. Like we know which interactions are there, but then there's the ones that are like your regular blood pressure meds or something for allergies. Like it's just it's slow. Just like in the pharmaceutical world, it's slow to identify interactions until we've got the post surveillance. We call it phase 4 of having a new drug come out. Is like now we just like put it out there in the general population and then see, like our due diligence is to report when something happens, but we don't have that reporting structure for psychedelics. That's why I am like the only social media I'm on is like Arrowhead and Reddit. I feel like I'm kind of like that's the place I go to for like data nowadays. It's like, okay, well this one sounds like they know what they're like, like they've really spelled it out, and I like gather data. So like the reason why it seems like really easy, Cindy, is because that's kind of all I do all day is just check out like how do we make sure that it's safe. And I'm building a database so that in the future one day I would love for it to just be something like, oh, is this and this safe together? And they could be like, green light, you're good to go, or hey, caution here, these are some considerations.
Yeah, take these time.
So I'm every time someone contacts me for an interaction, I just put it in there because I can't go and find every interaction under the sun, but the ones that come up more often are the ones that I should be at least putting out there, right? Yeah, like.
Well, I'll probably, when I find out what this trank is that they're sticking in the fentanyl, I'll probably be asking you about that. I do a bit of my own, but I think you have the ability to understand a lot more. So you'll have I can read published studies, but sometimes that gets out.
Yeah, the secret is like lean into other people's strengths, and that's my strength, and also like a weird pastime. It's like you just realize like some people love bookkeeping. Like I don't like bookkeeping. Someone else likes it. Amazing. Like why don't I lean into your strengths? So absolutely, like interactions, like interesting molecules and how they work together. Like I'm like it's my it's my like, yeah, that's my video game. That's the thing I love doing.
I'll go back to the bookkeeping and balance the books, because like that's the feeling I get when I'm done a month and it's all like balanced and yeah.
Oh, and I see that you've got the little Marina Sabina post like little if you look to your left, is that your left? Behind you? Yes. Her poem.
Yes. This is the card I got from you at the conference.
Yeah.
So I have her up here. She's always reminding me to
that you are the medicine.
Yeah.
One
of the questions I had was about a specific medicine. I've recently had somebody come to me, and they have hypertension.
Mm-hmm.
And they are taking Rampril,
Ramipril.
Yes. So see, you even know the mispronunciation and where to go. I think that's amazing.
As a pharmacist, we have to read doctors' writing, and I think that's a joke, but also a truth that like it's like we are kind of like first and foremost the puzzle piece, like the detective. So yes, Ramipril. Thank you.
Yeah. So does it interact with 5-MeO?
The drug molecule itself does not. It works in completely different pathways that we know of. Like that's the thing is when you put out any molecule, you're looking for specific, like what does it do? You're looking specifically for blood pressure, but and you're looking for like safety. But so clean, quick and like straight to the point. The molecules itself, both of them, should not interact. But then you look at, okay, well now they have hypertension. Okay, is there 5-MeO? It's a very intense and profound experience. Can their cardiac system take that load, take that like extra excitation? Like it could feel like jumping out of a plane. So would you then recommend your like 85-year-old grandfather like to jump out of a plane? Kind of like that's a little bit intense, like as an analogy, but it's similar to that. Is like, can they handle something very profound and intense on a very quick like 15-20 minute experience? So then just seeing, okay, they've got hypertension. What is their cardiac history? Do they have stroke? Do they have previous myocardial infarction? And then just going through like kind of like once you pick the pieces of like, oh, are they safe in all the ways? So not only like drug interaction, but medical interactions as well. Like have they had seizures in the past? There's just you're looking at the person as a whole, right? Like the new holistic way of seeing things. So that's like kind of my pathway of thinking about it. Like, oh, it's just never one thing. Like, okay,
so the first thing you do is go, do these work together? Yes. Okay. Now we can address.
Yeah. I just wanted to interrupt for a quick second. This Facebook user is actually another previous student of yours. It's actually Justin McCarthy. That is Yeah. I went and looked it up. So yeah, another previous student of yours.
Hey, Justin.
Hi, Justin.
He was also on our podcast.
Oh, yeah, he's representing the East Coast, creating community there. We haven't connected in a few months, but love to see what he's doing, what he's up to.
Cindy was saying that him and her should get together and bring you out to do a Toad.School out there and do a facilitation.
Yeah, because Justin and I are actually only about 2.5 hours apart. He's in New Brunswick right now, and of course I'm in Windsor, Nova Scotia. New Brunswick is much more open than Nova Scotia to a lot of the old meds coming back. And Steve is actually right. Like, I mean, New Brunswick might be a place that might be very open to a Toad.School for sure.
And if you recall, the whole point of Toad.School is not for me to come out there, right? Decentralization. It could be in your hands, and any areas in which you're not comfortable with, like the medical part or the contraindications. That's just like a small section that I could help with, or I could teach you.
That's kind of why I was asking when you're coming to Toronto, because I was thinking, Toronto's not very far from me either, and I could come be an angel and serve you.
Yeah, and then like get to know the ins and outs, and then offer it yourself. Because whenever I drop into a new city / country and then I host a Toad.School, oh my gosh, it's like you're building a community there of people who are interested, working together on the same, like with like this, your passions in line. So it's like afterwards we'll do like movie night or potluck nights afterwards. I think it would be great if you were to lead one with Justin.
Absolutely. I agree. I see that happening down this way myself.
And I'll just come and visit.
Absolutely.
I'll just come and
We
like,
would love to have
I
you.
love the Maritimes. Yeah.
Yeah, we would love to have you. The last time I saw Justin was a couple months ago. When I was traveling home from Montreal, I got to stop in New Brunswick, and we got together for a few minutes. He's a lovely gentleman. I enjoy interactions, and I told him then that I would like to come up and work with him and learn from him in other medicines as well. Yeah. So it would be really beautiful for that to happen as things get going and as the new year starts over.
2024, just around the corner.
It is.
And here's where I'm going to ask, so what's your plans for 2024?
Whew. Well, I love psychedelics. When I was probably in my earlier 20s, maybe like the late 20s, maybe even like a few years ago, I thought, all I got to do is just like get psychedelics out there, and that's the key. I'm recognizing now there are more pieces to this, right? And we mentioned it before, it's community. So my focus this 2024 is I want to kind of either be a fly on the wall or get into long-standing communities. Take over the world. We'll do it together. Yes, we're taking over the world together. But I want to go into these communities that have been founded for decades, and I want to learn, when someone tells me like, oh, that community, so much drama. Like, good. They've been through drama. They figured it out. They maybe have like some like principles of how to communicate. What do you do when there is drama? Is there like maybe like a weekly or like a monthly powwow with the elders? And there's like I want to just know, hey, how do communities that have been longstanding, how do they continue to stay a community and not break apart? And I just want to, for me, I'm like, that's what I want to do is like, I just want to stand on the shoulders of elders and giants and just see how they do things. And then just kind of share this. I want to recreate that and then keep sharing it. So that's my 2024 is going into community building. I feel so held. Like people talk about like it takes a village to raise a child. I need so many more people around me than a nuclear family, and like how do we build this so that other people can lean onto the tribe, because we can't do it ourselves. I think we're just seeing the tail end of the way our society has been structured, and it's just exhausting. And so I just want to know it works and share it, of course, and share psychedelics too. that's kind of my like always the case. And then like a new focus is always like, oh, what's going to inspire me this year? What's going to inspire me this next year? And I kind of like put it as a goal setting. So that's
well, I love that focus that you've got. I think that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Learning, learning and passing it on and creating the community to pass it on to. That's a beautiful thing. You're already creating a community. You're creating a community of the people that you're teaching to help others heal and to bring people into the community. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Thank you. And I think once you get a taste of it, I think that's what it is you're like, oh, this feels really good. I want to keep working on this. So that's why it is like Toad.School is a start of a community, a pod. And really it depends on how much people want to keep with the community, or like I think that's what community is. It's also nice to know I'm not stuck here. It's not a cult. It's a community where I can come in and I can come out as I choose, but I always know I have this group of people that I could lean on for support and wisdom and sharing.
And an incredibly diverse group, because in the ones I've been to, you've had psychiatrists, psychologists, trauma specialists, other psychedelic administrators, like it's a really diverse group that you get in there. I was quite amazed actually, and quite amazed how many of the clinical people are stepping in, going, you know, they're recognizing that there's a difference between medicating and healing.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, it's so true. It always astounds me who shows up to Toad.School. I shouldn't be the one in the front. It should be you guys. But that's what's lovely about it, is that there is a lot of open conversation. So those people who want to share get to. I mean, I hope everyone shares, right? Even the ones who are psychedelic curious are asking questions, and then we've got just everyone like sharing in that circle.
Yeah, in the pod I was at, we had two folks that showed up that were just that they were psychedelic curious. They had never even smoked a cigarette or a joint or anything, and it was really amazing to learn alongside with them and to see it through their eyes. It was really very cool. Yeah.
Right? It's like, whoa, I haven't, like, what was it like to be in that position? Like, it's been like decades. Like, I don't even remember.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to also just like represent, to say, well, I've been doing this for a really long time, and look at me and look at everyone else here. So just being that, like, I get to do that as a pharmacist. Is I've had many people who are psychedelic naive have their first taste with me, because they say, oh, well, Trina's a healthcare professional. So it's just really, really, I feel so fortunate to have that education background, experience background, and then to say, like, hey, it's safe, and hey, this is another tool, and hey, if you're on an SSRI, that's great. Like, that's a tool too. It's just, we should see this as tools, and then we get to pull it out of the toolbox when we need to. But that's what it should be, so that we stay empowered. It's not, I am forever labeled as someone who is depressed. It's, I am currently in a state of, like, you know, my own struggles, and at some point I can choose another tool or a different tool, or put this tool down. So I love the ability to have these conversations from a place of knowing experience.
Yeah, I have to say that, you know, because I come at things more from a science perspective and published studies perspective, and I have to say that knowing that you were a pharmacist, just, it made me not have to go through a whole bunch more research to know that I was okay. It was like, oh, okay, I understand that, and I know she's got the education in the science background that I'm looking for as well to be safe.
Yeah.
You know, there's some people go right to the shamanic, some people want to go to the science, but you know, that having that is you know, it's a good secure thing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, got to show my Santa shirt. You know, my grandson got this for me last year. I didn't have enough tattoos, so we got a few more this year.
It's so cool.
It looks fantastic, Steve.
Yeah, it's like you and Cindy now both are like, you got your like you know, your individual brands. Like you're like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So Trina, I've got your website scrolling along the bottom, thedharmacist.com. It's a great place that if people want to reach out to you, they can find you quite easily through there. It's also where you can learn about what she does with Toad.School, and where you can sign up for future Toad.Schools.
Thank you. Or just to chat, or just to get curious about, like, hey, there's like so many amazing psychedelics out there. So I just love sharing stories. So yeah, absolutely connect there. And yeah, Toad.School signups are there, and consultations. Like I go through the whole list of meds with people and then we just go through a plan of how do we, like, psychedelics are for the most part safe, and we'll just have us like that, to be able to lean into that safety net to say, like, okay, well, these are these considerations we should make to like go on your first journey, or any journey. Yeah.
One of my favorite things that happened when I was out there last time, was, after I had gone to the conference and after we had Toad.School, there was a number of us sitting around. It was kind of like my version of an amazing party in this stage of my life. I was sitting in one corner with, 2 or 3 other beautiful ladies, and we were partaking in the medicine, the sacred medicine of Hape. Somebody else stood up over here and said, "Does anybody want a microdose of combo?" And, I'm just sitting there going, now this is my idea of a party. Like, we have a lot of psychonauts around, and we have traditional safe medicine, being talked about and being shared. And it was, the setting was perfect. Like, the people were perfect. It was just, it was a beautiful moment in that, in that moment when we were just visiting, really. Yeah.
What were your words, Cindy, afterwards?
After combo or after the Toad.School or after the conference?
After the conference. Those words, when you go to Toad.School, those words completely fit. The only person judging me was myself.
Me. Yeah. And that was true. When I walked out of the conference for the first day, it was like the only person that looked at me like I was any kind of weird was me. I was completely accepted, and that was a first in my life. Going to such a large group of people and being completely accepted by everybody. It was crazy. I've done it with small groups, or if I, when I go to visit Steve, but to walk into a few thousand people and everybody is accepting of everybody, it was just really friggin' beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking about that experience you had with like someone serving Hape here, Cambo here. Like that's what when people talk about the psychedelic renaissance, that's what I see happening is people get to offer their gifts. They lean into their gifts. They're like, I'm super excited to share this. And everyone's accepted. And the weird is like, where is your weird? Like, show me your weird.
Embraced. It's like, oh, you got a superpower.
Yeah, that's where weird is. Like the shadows are like where the superpowers are. So like that's where the weird lies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to embrace that.
Wow.
Well, Steve.
Oh, hang on. Not that I'm reading or anything. Okay. Well,
sadly, we are at that time. We're probably going to go a couple minutes over with the closing and whatnot. But Trina, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to like do this with you all. Like let's just stay in each other's circles, orbits. Like
absolutely,
forever.
And we'd love to have you back again. Because this conversation went really quick. I mean, I'm looking down and it's 4:59, and it's just like, oh my God, I'm 5 minutes over. Holy. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely spectacular. I'm sure we will be texting back and forth, probably pretty soon, especially about that, that question. I want to chat with you about the friend that I was telling you about. So yeah, and now I will hand it over to my co-host, Steve.
All right. Thank you, Trina, for joining us here. It's been absolutely awesome. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us here on the Mushie Moment. That's to everybody out there in podcast land. For joining my co-host Cindy, myself, and Trina. And we're proud to be coming to you live from paceradio.net, cbgtv.com, streaming everywhere. We'll see you next week. Much love.
Actually, we'll see you in 2 weeks because we're on Christmas break.
Oh, I guess I should read the messages.
That's okay.
Now it's emphasized.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partners 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 and Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.